Well, good morning. Today's all about character and how perfect that we had car crashes and we have a cold over here, but came anyway. And Mariah, she just zipped back to the, oh, there you are.
I threw you off.
Mariah was planning to spend her day with the kids today, got a call at 6 o'clock in the morning, said, no, we're going to change that. And so she's doing her platform assisting today. Quite amazing. And who is it that said God bless you during the meditation?
The girl.
The girl said God bless you because someone sneezed during the meditation. Do you understand? This is all about character. Yeah, so good character. We have an affirmation for today. It's in your program. This green sheet, this is your study guide. We'll be playing a little bit off of it today, and then we'll be adding some other things that just seem to be bubbling up, so you just have to bear with me. And the bottom of the sheet on the back is our affirmation, so if we can get our first slide up. And let's go ahead, I'll go ahead and say it first, and then we'll do it together. I'm practicing good character in everything I say and do. Together, I am practicing good character in everything I say and do. And so, yeah, this thing called character, and practice is the word that came to me. In the book, I actually said theme of good character. That was the chapter I had in the book. I changed it. Because I really realized it's practice. How many of you go to the gym? Have gone to the gym? And so, in the gym, why do we go to the gym? Feels good, work out, build muscle, yeah. Interesting process that happens. So when you're working against weights, it actually tears down the old muscle fiber. You'd think that would hurt, wouldn't you? But it makes way for the new fiber. So we're each sitting here in our cells, some are dying off and other ones are being created. So our body, I think I read, every couple years, our body completely recreates itself. The old ones die off and the new ones come in. Character is the same type of effort. It's about building a character muscle. And so I want to point to a couple people that I felt were really significant. So when I bicycled across the country and my wife followed in the support vehicle, it reminded me. It reminded me of exactly what this thing called character is. And I actually had a chance, it was back probably about 7 or 8 years ago. I'm a consultant, and I was working with the Leech Lake Indian Reservation, and we had about 75 of their leaders in the room, and we were going through a strategic planning process. And as part of that process, I was starting to work with a metaphor of how to link all the pieces that we guide through. And we've been doing some of those in here. And I had one of the Native leaders come up to me and said, here's something that we share that kind of brings all of this together. And that person shared the metaphor of a tree. And so we're going to look at an apple and how an apple tree gets formed. And so, first of all, how does an apple happen? What happens first? Seed. So it all starts with a seed. This is what I call the tree of happiness and success. So that is a seed. And so think of the seed as what we covered last week. So the seed is our purpose or our potential. It's that seed within us that is ready to start forming. And let me ask you, so if I plant a seed from a pear, will I grow an apple?
No.
No. If I plant a little kernel from corn, will I grow an apple?
No.
No. So like last week, we talked about we each have a unique purpose in life. And that purpose is our seed for us to express in our own unique way. If I cut open this apple, and I can count the number of seeds in the apple, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if I held one of the seeds in my hand, can I count the number of apples in the seed?
No.
No. It's kind of like that with our potential. We have no clue what's possible. So Joel is contriving some new life after this little time of meditation that he's choosing to have. And who knows what he's going to do next. Who knows what he's going to express? Who knows what he's going to have Mariah do next? And the interesting thing is, this has been a great opportunity for Mariah to shine and build some skills that she hasn't honed before, and for Sonny to do the same. And so there's been a growing process for each of them and everyone on staff. So back to the tree. And so what's the first thing to grow from the seed? You get enough warmth from the sun and enough water and nutrients, what happens? The roots start to sprout. And so it's interesting because you don't see what's happening. But underneath the ground, invisible to any of us, are the roots. And see, this is what I think values are for us. They're the root system. They are, share with me what the roots do for a tree. Yeah, they bring the nutrients in, so they bring the water and the minerals up from the soil. What else do they do? They support the tree. And so they lay a solid foundation so this tree can continue to thrive. 20 years, 50 years, however many years that tree is going to live. And then we start to see some things. So we start to see the trunk sprout up. And consider this the life force. So if we want to link it to, what does this mean to me? This is the energy that I have as Ray Madaghiele as I walk through life. It's kind of what people see. It's the life force, the enthusiasm that I bring to whatever my focus is. It's you taking your purpose and moving through life, expressing that purpose in whatever way you do. That's the trunk. And the interesting thing, the aspen tree is very interesting to me because it has a root system that many trees actually share. And I think that's a good metaphor for each of us. We are connected. We are somehow connected to the same soil, the same nutrients. It's similar to when we talked about shining, and I brought in a little light board, and we all are connected to that same source that we get to express in our own unique ways in this world. I think that's pretty exciting. And so this tree continues to grow. And so it forms into a great tree, and it gives shade to some people. This is an apple tree. These are not cherries. Okay? Just want to let you know. And the depth and breadth of a tree, the branches just keep going out. And this, for me, is similar to each of the areas of our life that we express ourselves in. So our personal life, our professional life, our family and relationships, and all the things that we are doing. And wherever we've set our goals and intentions, like we talked about in the first and second sessions of this commitment program. And that spreads out as far as we choose to. We can be as big as we choose, or as small as we choose. It's up to us. And then the fruits of our labors, the apples. These are our goals attained. These are the things that are the fruits of our labor, I guess you would say. And it's interesting in our life how many pieces of fruit we actually bear. And so that little seed that started this apple tree, how many apples over the course of the lifetime of that tree do they produce? How many by your good deeds? How many other things happen? So just saying a simple, God bless you, could brighten someone's day that was having a tough day. Their car did something and totaled, and you get to get a new car and all that stuff. You never know. And so this whole Ray of Hope commitment program, and I love the culmination of it, is the service projects. And so I don't know how many of you have been bringing food, but I encourage you, next week will be the last chance to bring food. Bring some in. Can you imagine the look on someone's face that maybe is hungry and they open a can of food? That was yours. You'll never know who it is, but it doesn't matter. Then as we roll further down the road, as we got to Kentucky, there was a place called Hodgenville. It was the birthplace of Lincoln. And I hadn't known that. It just happened to be on our route. And so we went to a place where they had a replica of Lincoln's home. They actually found the original home, they knew what the footprint looked like, and they built a replica on top of that footprint. And this was it. 18 feet by 16 feet, one room and fireplace. That's where our 16th president was born. And I got thinking about that. So here, in these humble beginnings, he lived with his mother, his father, and his mother, even though they didn't have a lot of money, had a Bible and was able to get some other books, and so they homeschooled Lincoln. He didn't have a formal education as a child. And then father had a very strong work ethic, and so Lincoln got that work ethic from him. And so here's a person that's known for what? What was his nickname? Honest Abe. He was known for his honesty and integrity. And as he grew up, they moved to Illinois, a place called Springfield, and he grew up and he worked as a clerk in a store, and people got to know him. Whenever there was a dispute of some sort in the town, they came to Lincoln. They came to Honest Abe because they knew he would always deal with it with integrity. They knew that he would always do it with a sense of non-judgment. And so he earned that reputation. I read an article earlier this week that kind of listed the things he stood for, and so we know he stood for equality, that the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution advocated, but yet we weren't practicing, and that didn't seem right to him. And so he took a stand. He made a decision to go into a civil war over that. And I got reading more about him because I just wanted to know, kind of fill in between the lines of what I learned in school. And I learned that he actually made the decision to fight for equality, knowing that he was going to have to fight against his own family, who were choosing to be Confederates. And then as we rolled further down the road into Virginia, we also visited Stonewall Jackson's home. And we learned that Stonewall Jackson had been invited to join the Union Army as well as the Confederate Army. And you know why he chose the Confederate Army? Because he also believed in equality. He also believed in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. But you see, he would have to fight against his family. And so he chose to compromise maybe what were values that he felt were important, because blood was thicker than values. So what would have happened if Lincoln wasn't a model for us to stand up for something called integrity? I thought about that as I wrote it. Then I thought about Jesus. This is a picture of Jesus maybe you haven't seen before. This was actually painted by an 11-year-old girl. Her name is Madaghiele. It's spelled in a kind of an unusual way. And she's been on different talk shows, Oprah being one of them. And she's actually been filmed because people didn't believe she could paint like this. But she's been filmed painting things like this. And see, she started painting angels and biblical scenes. And this one of Jesus she knew she needed to paint. The interesting thing is, her parents were atheists. They didn't even have a Bible in the house. They never talked about spirituality. And so they asked her, well, where did that come from? Well, it came through her. And the way she worded it is, Jesus has been talking to me. And this painting came about because she needed to find a model to sit for her. And she knew exactly what that model needed to look for, needed to look like. And so several people came to the door, and she instantly knew that wasn't them. And then one person that came to the door was a construction worker, probably a carpenter. He came to the door, and he had no idea what he was going to sit, what the painting was he was going to sit for. And she told him that he's the one that's going to sit for that painting of Jesus.